Welcome to Soul Searching Space, a space to remember who you truly are, who you came here to be, and what you came here to do. To be crystal clear, going from black and white thinking to full color HD, working from the inside out, reclaiming your power, waking up to your inherent wholeness, aligning soul, heart, mind, and body. Hello, and thank you for tuning in to another episode. As we explored in the previous episode, Jim Brown said, "You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." In the previous episode, I invited you to reflect upon the 5 people or the 5 energies you spend the most time with. I also invited you to take hour by hour note of your typical day, just for 2 days or more if you find it interesting. I also invited you to make a list of people you have engaged with socially over the past couple of weeks. What has come up for you in the process of these reflections? Have you gained new awareness? Are your friends chosen or are they friends by coincidence? Sometimes we become friends with people who just enters our lives, whether that's someone we sat next to in college or high school, or maybe it's a friend of a friend. There is nothing wrong with that. What I am saying is that having an intent with who you bring into your inner circle is so important. Maybe you're blessed to have 5 trusted friends. Maybe you have one true friend. Remember, it's not about quantity, it's about the quality of the relationships. Do you have a clear idea of what kind of people you desire in your life? Do you know the great ones that stand out from the rest? Do you know what makes a true friend and which friendships are worth the investment of your time and energy? Friendships make our lives more meaningful and are good for our overall health. That's why it's so important to choose our friends wisely and treat them well. A study that followed 268 undergraduates for 75 years, collecting lots of data about them along the way, the researchers found a single factor that reliably predicted the quality of the participants' lives: loving relationships. The participants could have all the right boxes checked off when it comes to success, anything from good physical health, a thriving career, money, and more. But if they didn't have loving relationships, they weren't happy. Let's reflect for a moment. Just note that you can do this reflection with each of the centers within the center. So the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, or whichever area you want to work on. For now, since we are exploring loving relationships, let's reflect on the 5 people you spent the most time with. So reflect or write down the names of the 5 people you currently spend the most time with. Are you okay being influenced by these 5 people? Do you feel free when engaging with them? Do you feel uplifted? Do you feel inspired by them? Do you feel supported? Are you allowed to shine in their presence? Are they aligning with the life you are consciously creating? Are they genuinely as happy as you are when things go your way? Do you believe and value similar things? Are they the kind of friends you aspire to be? Are they trustworthy and accepting of all of who you are? Are they optimistic and hopeful about their dreams and yours? Are these loving relationships you desire for yourself and your life? Do you have loving relationships, healthy relationships, safe relationships? I am using different words because we attach different meanings to different words. Your definition of these words will be different from mine. So find and use the words that resonate with you and really reflect on your relationships. What does it mean for you to have loving, healthy, safe relationships? What does that look like? Who comes to mind when I ask you who is a safe person to you? Why do you need that kind of safety in your life, in your relationships? If you don't really know, let's reflect on what an unsafe person is to you. To be fair, some of us don't realize we are unsafe. We have developed unhealthy ways of acting and being over time that have harmed others as well as ourselves. When we know better, though, we can do better and be better. It is possible to learn new ways and patterns of relating and interacting that can greatly improve the quality of our own lives and relationships. What is your definition of loving relationships? What is your definition of a loving person? How can you embody more of the kind of relationships you want to attract into your life? How can you be more loving? Who do you want to become? What kind of relationship does the person you want to become have in their life? So, as you generate and create more clear boundaries in your field, what you are open for, what kind of conversations you're open for, then that transforms the conversations that enters your field. And those conversations can be of love, compassion, harmony, healing, transformation. What kind of conversations has entered your field recently? Sometimes we find ourselves making the same mistake over and over again, attracting the same kind of people into our lives. It's not a sign of punishment from the universe. It's a sign that we have work to do. Reflect on what comes up for you in these certain dynamics. Journal about your feelings. Do you notice any recurring patterns? It is helpful and important to take into account that what is the thing that is triggering us so much? They are saying something that is stirring something inside of us. So we can choose to send them love and gratitude for helping us remember something about ourselves that we forgot. We send them love and be on our way with new information, with valuable information about something that we haven't faced yet or we haven't dealt with, that is waiting for us to feel it, to heal it. And then having that circle that we do trust to get feedback from. Remembering whose feedback we are allowing into our space. Is it a total stranger who doesn't have the whole context? Or is it a trusted friend, a person that lives a life that you are inspired by and or want to be going in that direction of? It's really about having those clear boundaries and knowing who is your innermost trusted circle. And just really remember that nobody deserves any form of abuse. It is necessary to protect ourselves from those who aren't treating us the way we want to be treated. Make sure you have proper boundaries in place. When our inner child, our ego is at work, we might never feel good enough and we might settle for less than we deserve and we attract people who aren't good for us. That's why getting rid of people doesn't solve the suffering we are experiencing. The work is integrating the lesson that the other person is teaching us. We are students and we are teachers. If we don't do the work, it stays with us and interferes with our energies. These people reflect our unresolved issues, and these unresolved issues, they will keep reappearing until we learn and integrate the lesson we need to learn. So, what unresolved energy are you carrying? How is it holding you in the past, preventing you from moving forward? What memories is associated with the suffering? How can you make peace with it? We all come to relationships with different levels of self-awareness and self-knowledge. Do you know what you desire in your life? Do you know what you have to offer? How do you want to be cared for? What makes you feel loved? How have you evolved? How has your relationships evolved as a result of you evolving? What kind of inner circle do you desire in your life? Take some time and heal the wound and get to know yourself better. Build your self-esteem and self-worth and invest in yourself. Once we have clarity about ourselves, we can then connect with others in a more intentional way. What are you the space of? What is the energetic field of information that people relate to when it comes to you? Do you believe in yourself enough to bet on yourself? Enough to generate what you desire for yourself? How can you become your own best friend? How can you embody all the traits you desire in a friend? Remember, we attract who we are, not what we want? How can you be a loving friend to others? What kind of friend do you desire to be? So, who is going to be in your inner circle, your party of five? And it doesn't have to be five, it can be as little or as many as you like. However, sometimes finding or even being a good friend can get tough. For many people, we have so many casual acquaintances to nurture, but only so much time and energy. Many people in our lives will move somewhere along the spectrum between acquaintances and close friends or best friends. These different relationships are all important. Understanding where someone fits on your spectrum and differentiating what you expect from the relationship is very helpful. Also, being aware of what kind of feedback will you allow into your space. Is it a trusted source you're taking feedback from? I believe feedback is important and can be of value. It's knowing ourselves and developing that trust and security that we have this knowing inside of us to know who to receive feedback from or to be open to receive feedback from. Is it someone who truly knows us, or is it someone who maybe doesn't have the whole story to be able to offer us something that's helpful? Everyone is going to have an opinion, and it is our journey of finding that space of compassion and safety and trust within ourselves to know when to open the gates and when not to open the gates. These are all things to reflect upon when looking at our inner circles. In every relationship, we have the opportunity to teach people how we want to be treated, what level of love, joy, disappointment, and suffering and more will accept and be willing to bear. Are there any relationships that hasn't reached a satisfying level for you? Can you live with it? Or is it time to accept it and move on? The choice is yours. Before you make any changes, I want you to imagine a shooting target board, I think it's called. It's, the one with all the circles. And I want you to imagine that the most inner circle, that is yours. That is sacred, that is private, and that is yours to share or not to share with people you choose to share with or not to share with. You don't owe that inner circle, that connection with your higher power, that connection with yourself. You don't owe that sacred space to anyone. That is all yours and it is your choice. Outside of that circle and the rest of the circles will look different for each and every one of us. If you're in an intimate relationship, your partner might be then in the next circle, and then after that circle might be your family or your close friends. Or maybe you're single, so the next circle after you could be your family, and maybe you're not close with your family, so it could be that it's your close friends, and then it's co-workers, and then it's acquaintances, and it will be different for all of us. I invite you to get a piece of paper and draw the circles and write down the names of the people in your life. See if you can notice the different layers of boundaries of the people in your life. See if you can notice the different layers of expectation of these relationships. Notice which kind of people where you are friendly to them, but there is a little bit stronger boundaries with these people because maybe you don't know each other that well. Draw the circles for all the people in your life, anything from community to acquaintances to strangers to the very outside of people who are either unsafe or you choose to not allow into your space. Are there some people who need to be relocated to a different circle? I invite you to draw these circles and write out the names of the people in your life as it is currently, and then another one for how you want it to be from now on. Remember that nothing is set in stone. As you are evolving and growing, so will your relationships. And you might notice that people are relocating to another circle. It is helpful to write out and understand who at each level is your trusted people and not making it good or bad. It's just cultivating that self-awareness. It's about becoming aware of who to give your energies to and who not to give your energies to. That's basically why we are doing all of this, to really cultivate that self-awareness. You'll notice that you don't have to cut people out. You have to shift the way you are in relationship with them. Remembering it's not about judgment, it's about discernment. As you evolve, you may notice people moving back and forth between the circles. Also remembering that you have the right to break out of your comfort zone when you wish to. So don't be afraid to try pushing past those boundaries. Just make sure it's a situation where you have full control and you can go back to your safe zone if you choose to. Notice how you feel when a boundary is broken. This can help you determine how firm your boundaries need to be. If it's helpful for you, write your boundaries down. You don't have to show them to anyone. You don't have to show this board to anyone. But putting your ideas into words and seeing visually the circles of your people can help you describe exactly where to practice boundaries. Part of practicing, communicating, and setting boundaries is being confident enough to draw a line when our boundary is crossed and to hold our boundary and find the balance between firmness and kindness. So these are just ideas of versions of a boundary. You don't have to declare it to the world. You don't have to go to everybody and say, this is my new energetic boundaries. They will feel it as you embody it. Remember that all of this is just to cultivate that self-awareness and to get to know ourselves better. We are doing the work for ourselves, not for anyone else. So how do you feel about your party of 5, your new inner circle of trusted, safe, healthy, loving relationships. So, did something resonate with you? Who are you going to be, and what are you going to do about it? Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your presence. I look forward to being with you again. I am sending you so much love, and until next time, may you remember that when you show up or don't show up, it has an impact on other people.